In these problems, we're working with percentiles. And percentiles are numbers that show you what percent of the data in a data set is lower than the value that you're looking at. The calculations are pretty simple. As long as you've got a data set that's arranged from lowest to highest, it's pretty easy to figure out. You just take the number of values lower than the one you're looking at, so you just count them, divide it by the total number of values in the data set, and multiply by 100, and that'll give you that percentile. In this first problem, we have a stem and leaf plot, which is convenient for us because that data is arranged from lowest to highest. We start at 51 here and we go up to 99 in this data set. We should count the number here. 7, looks like 23. So our total here is 23. That's supposed to be an N. They're asking us to draw a box and whisker plot to represent this data, and then to figure out the percentile rank of 79 and 85. These are scores on a driver's ed test. They want to know the percentile ranks of those scores. I'm going to skip the box and whisker part. I've got another video about that, so you can look at that if you'd like to. We're just going to focus on the percentiles here. So let's find this value 79 in our stem and leaf plot. So we go to the 7 here for the 70s and then over to the 9 for 79. And what we want to know is the number of data points lower than that. So I can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 data points that are lower in this data set. And the total number of data points is 23. And I'll do that division and then multiply by 100. And you should get around 52 rounding. So that's our 52nd percentile. And as I look at the answer choices, it looks like it's going to have to be A here because there's the 52nd percentile. But let's double check with 85. So the same process, we'd find 85. So here's our 80s, here's 85. And let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are equal to or higher than in this set of 23. So we're going to have 18 that are lower. And we're going to multiply that by 100. And let me just pull out my calculator on this one. So 18 divided by 23. And that is the 78th percentile. So that's how to calculate a percentile. It's important to remember what a percentile means. Sometimes you'll get test data back on a test you take, maybe on some standardized test. And the percentile, what it's telling you, you need to remember, is what percentage of the population of people who took that test scored lower than you. So if you're in the 99th percentile, that means you scored better than 99% of the people. If you're in the 2nd percentile, it means you scored better than 2% of the people. This question asks you just to show that knowledge. It says the table below shows Leah's test scores and percentiles. So we don't have to calculate any percentiles here. We just have to interpret what a percentile means. And it's asking, what is Leah's percentile for her English test score? That part, really simple. Here's English. Her raw score was 67. Her percentile was 60. That's the answer for that first part. Then it says, what does this percentile show? And of the choices that have 60 here, here and here, the first one says she scored better than 60% of the students, and the second one shows that 60% of the students scored better than she did. And you should know this shows she scored better than 60% of the students. The 60 here means 60% of the data, 60% of those test takers are lower than she is. All right, let's try one more. This one's a little more annoying because we've just got this chart of data and it is not organized from lowest to highest. So we'll have to do a little extra work with this one. The problem says the following are algebra test scores of 36 students, including Rachel. If Rachel got an 82, let's see. Okay, so this must be Rachel right here. If Rachel got an 82 on the test, what percentile does her score represent? So again, what we want to find is the number of values lower. So the number of values less than our x divided by the total number of values. Well, we know the total number, that's 36. And then we're going to multiply that by 100. So I think in this case, what I'm going to do is just cross out all the values that are lower than 82. So let's just go ahead and do that. This will take a minute or two. So 69, 53, 52. Looks like she did pretty well compared to rest of the people here. So I'm thinking that percentile is going to be pretty high. Let's see, 84 is higher, 91 is higher. That's lower, that's lower. 88 is higher, 98 is higher. That's lower, and that's lower. So just crossing out anything lower than an 82. 87 is higher, 91 is higher. Okay, so the x'd out values are all values that are lower than Rachel's 82. So let's count those up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So 29 values are lower. So we'll take 29 divided by 36 and multiply it by 100, pulling out my calculator. And that looks like 80.55, so we'd round that up to the 81st percentile. And that looks like choice A. So that is a little bit of work with percentiles.